Okay, so I'm going to go over how to get a better, more realistic image out of your windows. This is for our Russell Sage students. Our building is theoretically in Chicago and is on the 10th floor. So the exterior view from Enscape that's called urban, it's kind of crappy. It's like you're in a softball field or something, or in a park, and it doesn't really work for like the aesthetic we want to go for in our renderings. Worked okay when we were doing residential houses when we had like, mountains and deserts and things like that. But for more urban cityscapes, doesn't work so great. So we want to get rid of this first and basically have just blank white. So you go way up over here to the eyeball, the visual settings. You're going to pick sky, and we don't want this urban anymore. We just want to click white background. So you can see right away what it does is it creates basically a blank canvas for us. That's good because what we're going to do next is pull this into Photoshop and replace this with an actual photo that's a lot more attractive for us. So then to make this a JPEG, we're going to go up here to this box here, screenshot. And for our purposes, a JPEG is fine quality wise for what we're printing. So you have options here. I have a JPEG here. So I'm just going to rename this and call this Office Test. And I have one there already, PS Test. Just we have two of them there. All right, so hit save. All right, so while this is exporting your image, it shouldn't take too long. You also want to go, if again you're a student of mine, or if you want to go online and find pictures yourself, we have a Google Drive for our class. So it's here. Let me kind of go backwards a bit. So ISD Tech 2, you're going to then project 4 and 5, final folder, or let's see, hold on, let me bring it up so you can see the name of it a little better. So it's Project 4 and 5, final large office. Then here under Chicago skyline, I have a bunch of photos that I found for you folks over the years that give us, obviously we're not on the ground, we're higher up. Some of these you might need to stretch or scale differently. I'm probably going to use, let's see, why don't I use this one earlier? I'm going to take this one and I'm just going to download it. So again, if you're my students, you have access to this. If not, again, depending on what kind of rendering you're doing, pick an image that works best for what we'll basically be seeing outside your windows. All right, so I'm now going to go over to Photoshop. And so I've already got another one in here, so I'll kind of just use this as an example. So you're just going to open this up. Now we don't want it on background. So here on your layers, you're just going to double click and just so it's kind of its own layer 0. You're now also going to add a background layer. So we're going to make this base. You're going to just click the plus button there. Up, I can just kind of click on there. Okay, so now we want to shift things around. So this one we want to have behind the scenes. And basically what we're going to do is minus out the white here and then bring in a photo to basically show through this like basically hole. To get that, what you need is the magic wand. So here under it's basically under the magic eraser tool. There's a couple other options, but again, if you don't see this come up, there's a tab and there's a couple other things. So I have my magic eraser tool. So I click on the white box and you'll be able to see like it does a really nice precise job of basically emptying out. Oh wait, I'm on the wrong layer. I have to be on layer 0, get my little magic eraser tool, click on the piece and see how it's like minusing it out. So then work your way through your view at your window. Again, I'm lucky this is pretty simplistic. You might have some people here that you have to go around. But again, newer versions of Photoshop are really good and precise with this. So pretty good there. Oops, I got the seat. I probably will just like leave that little bit right there because you're hardly seeing. But I can zoom in a bit. Why don't we just kind of be fussy about it and we'll get right in there. And then there's a little bit under the arm here. And there you go. Okay, so now let me zoom out just a little bit too. And if you zoom out. All right, so now what I want to do is basically bring in a photo of like our exterior, which in our case is Chicago, and we're several stories up. So I'm here now I'm going to turn off layer 0, just kind of click the eyeball. And now I'm just going to pull in an image. So I'm kind of lazy about it. I just say place embedded. I'm going to pull it from my downloads folder. So let's see here, there's Chicago right there. There's another one here I used earlier. Place it here. And so you might need to play with the perspective or size. So this guy's real dinky. So we're gonna make it bigger. I know I'm only really need something kind of the far right of my view here, but so far this looks like it's gonna fit pretty well because remember, left side of my image, not a whole lot going on there. So now I'm gonna turn this layer back on. And now I have a view out my window and we're looking at the lovely like river in Chicago there. So you can change this a bit, like if it looks too close or too far away. Again, we'd go back onto this level here when we can, edit that image. You can move it around, you can bring in another one. Oops, I'm erasing whole sky rises, high rises there. But this is how you're going to get a more realistic looking background. Also, again, for my students, just a reminder, have your Enscape people in here first too, because this is going to be the final step of your rendering. You're going to have everything else done, then put this in. Another thing to keep in mind, if you are showing this at nighttime, obviously, and like you've got your lights turned way up, obviously we want you finding, a nighttime skyscape. I have a few like that where you can see this one's got the buildings, the neighboring buildings are lit up and it's kind of like dusk. But you might want to find one that's again, and a lot of times my Google search was just Chicago skyline at night. I used to also put in keywords like view from hotel or view from apartment. So we were getting it not like a drone above the city, but as if you were standing inside of a building looking out. Like this sky is pretty far away, so I'd probably blow that up a lot tighter towards my windows. But that's how you pretty much like fake it out here to give us a much nicer view out the window than what Enscape is giving us. And again, you'll see a lot of our seniors in their final projects have real world examples. So they're using photos from like um, Google Photos and getting actual site specific views out of their window, which are great. Your clients love that. It makes it seem all the more real. And, they're kind of more emotionally invested when they can see kind of where it's happening in their own real world. All right, so hopefully this was helpful. I am available to help troubleshoot this a little bit in class, but again, we're starting to wrap up our final semester, so we'll put a lot more of our energy into, getting all these materials rendering correctly. Where this is something I'll probably encourage you to do on your own because this really will be one of the very last steps. So it might be happening when classes are over, but you're prepping your materials for final posters and portfolio review. All right, thanks. Hope this was helpful. And again, check in with me if you have any questions too.